Going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, making this video about some tools I bought in 2019 that I regret buying and that I wish I could take back. I'm not saying they're bad tools. I'm just saying I personally either have not used them or I've only used them one or two times and just did not need to spend the money on that I did. Figured at being the end of the year, I'm going to make a video of tools I wish I would have bought. I'm going to make a video of tools I'm glad I did buy. The biggest regret I have buying is this Matco pry bar. I bought this straight out impulse. It's humongous. It's really big. I paid way more for this than I needed to because it was an impulse buy. I was on a Matco guy's truck for like a year and it was starting to get rusty. I was sick of looking at it. So he gave me like $60 off it. And everybody that went on the truck that day ended up buying stuff we didn't need. One guy bought a toolbox that he didn't need and regretted buying it too. Really, I used this one time in about 5 months, and I literally have no use for this at all. I wish I would not have spent the money I spent on it. Again, not saying it's not a good tool, just saying me personally, I don't need this at all. It is humongous. I mean, if I was still working on buses full time, I would have this at work for checking kingpins, which is what you want this for, is, you know, on big trucks or buses for checking kingpins. Being a shop foreman, I don't need to do that anymore. So for me, it was just a tool I did not need. I will say though, if you work on semis or buses, or you think you're going to get into diesel, I would buy this. It is definitely a quality tool. You know, it's expensive for being a metal bar, but it's a good strong tool. I just personally did not need it. That's the biggest regret I have of 2019 of buying. But second one is a Snap-on 1 1/4 wrench. I paid literally an arm and a leg for this thing. Paid full price for it. Didn't even mean to buy it. Needed it one day. Mentioned my Snap-on guy. Oh yeah, order one for me. Forgot about it. He finally got it in. And then I was like, oh, yeah, well, my buddy has SCP. So literally what this one wrench costed, I could have gotten the entire set, the add-on set, from 1 inch to 1 5/16 inches for like another $60 or $80. So way overpaid for this. Definitely a quality wrench. I'm not saying it's not a good wrench. Definitely is. It's a Flame Drive Plus. Really nice tool. Great finish on it. Haven't even had to use it though. You know, I brought it home because I figured I'd rather put my toolbox at home, in my wrench drawer. But literally did not need this. I really could have just bought a Harbor Freight 1 1/4 for that. I was gonna use it for doing transmission lines on Allison 2000 on a school bus, and bought it and never used it. So, kind of wish I would have spent the extreme money I spent on it. Again, good tool. But really wish I would have bought it. Another Snap-on tool here. The FDX sockets. I have, and this kind of goes for both of these actually, I have the metric and the standards and the shallows. Again, very nice tool. Definitely a quality piece. I've only used the 10mm. And I wasn't even using it. My friend at work used it because on a Cummins oil pan, he had rounded the heads on a bunch of the bolts, used it to get them out. Other than that, I have yet, and I used a 7/16. So I've used 2 sockets out of both these sets. So money I didn't need to spend. Really have no use for these at all. They look brand new. They've just been sitting in my toolbox. You know, at least if I ever need to use them, I'll at least have them. But just really kind of a big waste of money for me. I just never use them. They sit in my toolbox, just like with this wrench. They look nice, but it's money I could use for something else. So that's definitely something I didn't need to buy. Next is these Irwin power grip things. Have not even opened the package up yet. They're supposed to be for like rounded off nuts and stuff like that. They have a little like twist grip socket thing in them. I only paid like $20 for these. They weren't too expensive at all. Thought I'd add to my collection. Never used them. Really don't see the point in these. I just don't feel like they're gonna work. Wish I would have bought these too, but at least these were cheap. I mean, these weren't as much as any of this stuff was. So, whatever. But again, they look nice in the toolbox. I guess part numbers there if anybody wants these. You can buy them off Amazon cheap. I got these from Farm and Fleet. But yeah, another tool I just did not need. And the last tool was my Matco multimeter. This literally was on a Matco guy's truck for years. This thing, he literally told me it's been on his truck for probably like the better part of 10 or 12 years. Gave it to me at less than what cost was. I only bought it because it was cheap. I paid $50 for this thing, brand new, with the warranty still. But I didn't need it. I have like 5 multimeters. I never even use multimeters. I use my power probes before I even touch these. So I bought it, put a battery in it, it works. But the last time I used a multimeter was about 6 years ago when I was checking ohms on a Cummins valve cover gasket. So again, I didn't need to buy this. $50 I could have saved in my pocket. But, for $50, whatever, at least I have it now if I need it. But it's another tool I really wish I would not bought, because when you add up all the money I spent on these tools I don't use, that's money I could use for something I do need. So, just a tip to you young guys out there, don't go out and buy stuff just because it looks good in your toolbox. Buy stuff you actually are going to use. One thing I will admit that I do like that I got is my Snap-on guy had the add-on set of Snap-on wrenches, the 20 through 24. Had them used. Got them for a great deal. I bought those. I haven't used the 20 yet, but I've used all the other sizes. And sadly, that whole set was not much more than this one wrench costed me. So I really wish I would have just not bought this, and that money we could have paid for those wrenches and been done. But I guess I'll live and learn now. But yeah, definitely think, long and hard before you guys start buying brand name tools on a whim. I like Snap-on tools. I like every brand of tools. They all have their good and pros and cons. But I'm really never going to use this stuff. I'm not. And I have so many sockets. I wish I would have got the deep wells, if anything, because at least the deep wells are more versatile for things. But these I really haven't even had to use, so that's a waste of about $600 sitting there. This was like, I don't know, it's like 140 or something like that. Just ridiculously expensive. So I mean, this right here, I paid $180 for this thing, and normal price is like $240. So got it for a good deal, but still, I don't use any of this stuff. Waste of money. It's all money I could use for buying something else, but it is what it is. But just for future guys though, that are in this field or getting in this field though, really think hard about what tools you want to buy. Like, I would recommend a Snap-on torque wrench, hands down. A lot of guys like the Icon ones. I'm not saying they're a bad torque wrench. I'm just saying before I'd go out and buy these again, I would spend money on a Snap-on torque wrench, or a nice Snap-on ratchet or breaker bar, or a wrench set. If you're working on semis and you're going to use this wrench every single day, buy the Snap-on one. This is definitely a quality wrench. This is way better than some Harbor Freight Taiwan job. But for the cost, if you're not using it that much, it's really not worth buying. You're better off going out and buying the cheap one that you might use once or twice every month or a year or whatever. But if you're using it every single day, then I would say buy it. Me, I have not had to use this at all since I got it. So for me, it was not worth buying. Wish I would have bought it, but again, it's a quality tool. I'm not saying it's not a good tool. Definitely, all these are quality tools. They're all USA. This, I think, is China. Nope, made in USA. Of Global Components, but that's China. But like I say, just really think long and hard before you go out and buy brand name tools. You don't have to buy Snap-on for everything. I just really kind of messed that one up. But, oh well, learn from my mistakes. Like, share, subscribe, really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any tools you guys bought that you regret buying, or tools you bought that you're happy you bought, post it down in the comments below. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll talk to you later.